tuzze wano nga twagala kwogerako eri eggwanga lyaffe naddala eri pulezidenti waffe jjajja Yoweri Kaguta Museveni ne maama Janet nga twagala okulaga obutali bumativu na ngeri ffe ng'aba TVET abakozi aba TVET naddala mu bibiina ebya wansi engeri gye tutulugunyizibwamu oba gye tusosolwamu. Tubadde tugezaako okwengejinga gavumenti mu mbeera ennyingi, tugezaako okuwandiika amabaluwa mu ministries ez'enjawulo ng'era nabo batuddiza, naye nga mu byonna teriiwo ngeri yonna gye tukanyizaako ku mbeera gye bali tutulugunyizamu oba engeri gye batuyisaamu nga bana Teco. Ngenda kukoza ekigambo Teco kubanga kye kimanyikiddwa nnyo n'abantu abasinga obungi. Bw'oyogera ku TVET omuntu wa wansi wali ayinza okuba nga takimanyi TVET kitegeeza ki, naye bw'ogamba nti omuteeko aba akoze eki? Aba amanyikiddwa. Okubeera nedda nga Teco yakatandiika twalina courses ezaali ez'amaanyi nga mu courses ezo mwalimu kye twayitanga tailoring, abekyalaani, mwalingamu carpenter and joinery ababazi, twalingamu n'abazimbi twayitanga aba BCP. Olunaku olw'omwezi 15 omwezi ogwa January 2018 Ministry yaffe Education and Sports yawandiikira Public Service ng'ekakasa nti omunateeko yenna ali mu course eya tailoring oba kye tuyita fashion and design saawa eno muna science. Naye kyatwewuunyisa nnyo ti nga 6 December 2024 Public Service ate yo neewandiika ebyayo ng'egezaako okukyusa abakungu abategeera ebikwatagana ku TVET ne batulaga nti fashion and design non-science. President w'eggwanga bwe yali ayogerako n'eggwanga bwe yayogera mu gundi mu kwogera kwe, ezo ndowooza zaali ennaku z'omwezi 13 omwezi ogw'Ekkumi 2023. Pulezidenti yayogera ku kwongeza emisaala gy'abakozi aba gavumenti mu bitongole ebyenjawulo aba science. Mu categories yayogerako mu TVET fashion and design, agriculture, workshop assistants, ne koze zonna ez'enjawulo eziri mu TVET zonna yazoogerako ng'alaga nti zonna zaki za science. Naye tetuli bamativu, tetumanyi muntu ki awadde public service amagezi n'abagamba nti bannaffe aba fashion and design, aba agriculture, aba workshop assistants si ba scientists. Era y'ensonga lwaki tuli wano twabawandiikirayo ennaku z'omwezi 27 omwezi oguwedde, omwezi ogw'Okutaano, nga tubalaga nti singa tewabeerawo ngeri yonna gyesobola okutuulako wansi ne gavumenti ne tukanya ku nsonga zino eziri tutawaanya naffe ng'abakozi ba gavumenti mu section ya TVET, tujja kutuula wansi tuddeyo ewaka tugende mu nnimiro zaffe tubalekera amasomero gaabwe bafune bye banaateekamu, kubanga kiba kirungi okwatagana n'omuntu nga naye akola ki akulabamu ekyomugaso. Tetugenda akkiriza abannaffe basigale mu maziga, naye nga abantu abakikola nabo bennyini bakimanyi nti kye balikola si kyekituufu. Tetumanyi oba mama waffe minisita owa education and sports akimanyiiko oba ne president akimanyi nti ba fashion designers be yali atadde ku category y'aba scientists babajjeeko babali bakonzalinga abanani science. Abanafu aba workshop assistant n'okutuuka kaakano tebabakonzalingako gabakunti nga ba scientists, n'omusala gwabwe tebagwongera. Tugezaako okulwana okulaba nti babwongera, naye nga mu byonna teri kibaddewo ekyamaanyi. Yensonga lwaki tukunga abantu bonna, abakozi abali mu TVET, abali mu masomero, skill development centers, vocational training institutes, Uganda technical colleges and all those other institutions, tubeere nga tukolera awamu nti olunaku erugenda otuuka nga gavumenti eganye okwogerezaganya naffe, ffenna tugenda kutuula wansi, ebyokozesebwa tubireke, tuddeyo ewaka. Naye ki kye tusaba? Bw'otunuulira ku bbaluwa public service gye yatuwa, nga yo naye erina version yaayo eraga nti fashion and design si ba scientist. Naye ate bw'ojja eno n'otunuulira ebintu oba content eyigirizibwa bano abantu eraga nti bana science. Simanyi oba waliwo owa arts eyali akoze vocational mathematics mu kosi yonna gy'aliko, kubanga wano ffe tulaba tulina tailoring technology and machine mechanics nga neeraga nti submodule ya science, tulina textile science, tulina pattern drafting and adaptation, tulina figure anatomy ne fabric decoration. Zino kozi zonna bw'ozitunuulira obulungi ziraga nti omuntu yenna akola fashion and garment design abeera muna science. Naye kyatwewunyisa nnyo okulaba nti public service yesazeewo nebajja ku musaala gwe badde bafuna. Bano abantu bwe tutunuulira koose eno eya fashion and design, kumbi 91 ku buli 100 abantu abagibeeramu bakikyala oba bawala. Naye ate gavumenti ebadde erikunganya abantu ng'eyagala okwongera kwegamba okulaba nti omuntu omukazi yenna waali naye asobole okubeera nga ali recognized. Eno y'engeri yokka gye tusobola okubanga naffe tusobola okuleetamu oba okusikka bannaffe bajje batweyungeko mu kitongole ekya science. Naye ate bwe batandika okubanyigiriza kijja kuleetawo ate embeera etali nnungi. Kigenda atuuka okubeera nedda abantu abasinga omungi badde tebatutwala ng'ekyomugaso, nga balowooza nti abantu abali mu technical batuyitanga ba failures. Oba yensonga lwaki public service ekyatunudde ng'abantu nga ba failures abatasobola okukola ekintu, atasobola okwegamba okweyogerera oba simanyi. Naye nga leero nga tuyitira mu kibiina kyaffe ekya Uganda Technical and Vocational Training Union, twagala okulaga obutali bumativu. Neera nga tusaba nti bino wamanga bikolebwe, kubanga yensonga lwaki TVET ejja kututumuka ebeere ku mutindo, era tubeere nga naffe buli omu akola ki agyenyumirizaamu. Ekisooka kye tusaba gavumenti ekkirize okuimplementinga cabinet resolution gye baakola ne presidential directive, kubanga president yalagira nti bannasayansi bonna babongera omusaala, buli omu mu kiti kyakola ki kyagwamu. naye ate public service ekyo teri kiwa okutu. Ne tusaba nti naffe tuleme okunyigirizibwa ennyo ng'abateeko. Kubanga batunulira bannaffe abali mu secondary tebalina mitawaana. Naye lwaki bwe kijja eno mu TVET ate fe bafuna ebizibu? Tusaba abannaffe aba workshop assistant nabo babakole ki? Babatunulemu. Nga bwe bayongeza omusaala ogwa workshop aba laboratory assistants mu secondary, naffe twagala mu technical ba workshop assistant nabo bakole ki? Babongere, kubanga ly'eddala lyerimu byebimu ku president byayogerako. Ne tusaba promotions bwojja waliwo kye tuyita gundi promotional ladders. Bw'otunuulira mu secondary ne mu primary ndowooza kyo kiri bulungi, naye bwe batuuka eno ewaffe mu technical osanga omuntu akoledde emyaka egiwera, alina ebiwandiiko naye nga talinyisibwanga adaala. Oluusi omuntu ono ajja tuuka obudde obw'okulitayaringa naye nga talinyisibwanga kuki? Ku daala. Naye nga ate nga kyomwe ekiri bakiwandiika era nga mu bitongole ebirala bakiimplementinga, naye nga ekituuka wano mu TVET tebagala kiimplementinga. Tuyina abannaffe ba principals abadde mu acting positions emyaka egiwera naye nga tebabaconfirminga mu permanent positions. Bakoze nnyo omuntu omuwadde, kubanga ekiragiro kigamba nti omuntu omuwa okubeera acting principal oba deputy okumala emyezi nga 6. Bw'olaba nti byakola gyebiri ate bituufu,
ebigambo bino bituuka eri omuntu yenna ng'ebizibu byakukwatira mu manvu, ng'ogezezzaako buli wamu okubyetakkuluzaako wabula n'okootakoota mu gaabwanda. Omulongo wa Swanga mu Luutansozi akusabye okkalire, kubanga Zebbulembe okukunaazaako amaziga ng'oyota ku byoto bye kafuumuula bibamba. Gwe wenna ng'ogobye ku mpapula ezifuluma eggwanga nga byagaana, koba ebweru wa Uganda ng'obutuuze bugaanye, amaka gakulemye, emirimu gitabuse, bizinensi ekunyiye. Omulongo wa Swai mutuufu okukuwonya embeera ya mbulabutuulo ng'agenda kukumira ku byoto. Kuba ku ssimu nooti 752228 nooti 910 awo mube butoola n'omu Luutansozi, olwo yalambulula ebikutte entimba n'emigadde wanaakuwunzikira nga weeyagala ng'ebiiri gye ebitannaba kugwa kyankooto.
Confirming naye nga ojja mu technical mwe tubeera n'abantu abali mu acting positions okumala emyaka 10 naye nga tebamukolanga ki? Tebamuconfirminga mu permanent position. Ekyo si kirungi. Tusaba kubanga ffe nga mu technical ebintu bye tusinga okukozesebwa ennyo bye tusinga okukozesa bya hands on skills, practicals. Naye nga bw'otunula buno obusente bwe batuwa tusobola ate okujjako kasente ate otandika okugula kino nakirimu lwakuba oyagala kusanyusa abakulaba. Tusaba gavumenti eveeyo etuyambe esobole at least okwekwipinga okuyamba abakola mu workshops zaffe okwafunirayoko bye tuyita protective gear, ebintu ebisobola okuyamba mu kutaasa obubenje obwandibadde muki mu workshops ze tukoleramu. Tuyinayo embeera nayo eya funding kwegamba ensimbi zibaweereza tezisobola kumala. Basigala nga banenya abasomesa, banenya abatendesi bonna, naye nga gavumenti yennyini waliyo ebintu ebingi ebyetaagisa okuba ng'ekola ki? Ng'ebiteeka mu nkola. Ebitali kuteekebwa mu nkola nga bwe byetaagisa. Twetaaga amasomero nga gavumenti manifesto ya NRM yakirambika bulungi nti target yaabwe yakuteeka na buli district oba na buli sub county actually ebeeremu TVET institution. Naye nga saawa eno oyinza agenda mu district amalala nga temulimu naki na institutions zino. Ate nga twetaaga abaana bakole ki bakunguke. Osanga omwana atambula mailo nyingi okugenda awali technical institution, nga bwotunuulira mu secondary na buli sub county erimu ki erimu esomero, era buli mwana atilisa abeerako kumpi nasobola okufuna kyaba ayagala. Kati bali abandyagadde ogenda mu technical bali sooti nga bagenze muki bagenze mu secondary kubanga ye bali okumpi, tasobola kutambula mailo nga 10 buli lunaku okugenda n'okudda. Tusaba government, kino kyo kyamaanyi nnyo era kya mugaso. Manyi ebiseera ebisinga obungi bw'oba okola ekintu kyetaaga naawe neweteekamu ak'obuntu oba ak'obuzadde oba embeera enungamu esobola naawe neweebuuzako nti singa nze gwe bakoze kino ekintu kyandibadde kitya. Osanga omuntu bamuwadde transfer, katugambe workshop assistant, gwe batayongera omusaala ne bamutambuza okumujja mu Eastern ne bamutwala mu Western. Naye ate bw'otunuulira sente zagenda okozesa ku transport ye okuva Eastern, katugambe Mbaale agende Kihihi, tikyagenda okukola ki okolera emirimu gye, olabira ddala nga si kya bwenkani. Naye nga gavumenti ekola ki teri kyebawa. Nze kyemanyi nti mwe nga bannamawulire wano tosobola kujja nga tebakuwadde transport ekuleeta. Mweteekamu transport, sisuubira nti mweteekamu transport owammwe. Naye ffe baagala okozeku akakasala ke bakuwa oba okozawo ku transport, naye ate ne bakusindika ogenda okolera ewala. Abo baba tebaagala akulemesa. Twandisabye nti at least wabeerewo embeera mu ngeri ya transferring abantu bano okusinziira ku regions. At least omuntu ave mu Western aji wano mu Central, ave mu Central agende mu Eastern, ave mu Eastern agende wali mu Northern, at least awo kibeerako kumpi. Netusobola kwata omuntu okumujja ejjinja n'omutwala Arua naye ng'omuwa emitwalo 2. Naye ate omwetaaga nti buli taamu alina okuba nga akola ki alipotinga mu budde, ate alina okumalayo emyezi gye nga 4 ng'akyali eyo, ate ng'alina amaka. Kino kireetedde n'abantu abalala obutalipotinga ku mirimu mangu. Abasinga obungi gye baagenda n'okwakisesinga payroll ne kaakano mulimu abakyakaaba, tebafunanga musaala. Omuntu amaze kati kumpi mwaka mulamba tafuna musaala naye nga baagala abeere ku mulimu. Naye gavumenti evuddeyo okuyamba bano abantu, naye ate yekukwata nekusindika agenda okole, tukuwa ssente. Kwegamba ssente zo zimalira mu transport ne treatment tofuna emala. Kati tusaba nti gavumenti yandivuddeyo netuyamba ku ekyo ekintu. Bw'ogenda mu secondary kwegamba ne sente ze bakuwa okusinziira ku namba y'abaana b'oba ofunye abagenda ku gavumenti. Kwegamba tebalina limitation mu government slots. Naye bwe bijje ne waffe mu technical na buli institution batuwayo abaana 6 bokka buli mwaka. Tubadde tusaba nti gavumenti yewe at least etwongere ku slots mu gavumenti. Abaana bangi abali wabweru eyo beetaaga okusoma, tebalina busoboze, baagala bakole ebyemikono naye nga tebasobola lwakuba tebalina ssente sobola baleeta mu technical. Kati tusaba nti gavumenti eveeyo etuyambe eyongere ku namba y'abaana be bakola ki be baweerera mu gavumenti bwe bakola mu secondary na mu primary. Kye tusabe ekyamaanyi. Tusaba buli kimu at least babeere nga bakitunulako mu mbeera ennungi ennungamu. Bandibadde batuyamba. Tusaba baba ne batuwadde gundi TVET Act yafulumye, naye bw'otunuulira tubadde naffe tusaba nti tubeeko ne representative oba omubaka yenna aba mu basomesa aba technical oba atendisa aba technical naye abeereko wali ku council oba mugundi mu skills expert committees bagenda okola ki okufoominga. Naffe tubeereyoko n'eddoboozi kwegamba omuntu owa wansi abeere nga represented basobole okutegeera nti ekintu bagenda okola kyonna tekigenda ku affectinga omukozi waabwe. Ebyo byonna bingi, naye kinjagala okubategeeza ababadde bagamba nti fashion and design si science. Saawa eno bagiyita Utvtu, Uganda Vocational Technical Assessment Board. Edda tubadde tugimanyi nga UBTEB, ya categorizing fashion and design negiteeka under what we call manufacturing sector. Naye simanyi oba waliwo manufacturing industry ekolebwa n'abanani science. Kino kyo nandiyagadde at least government etuddemu bulungi tusobole okutegeera. Tusaba nti wabeewo engeri endungi gye tusobola at least okutuula wansi ne tukanya ku nsonga zino, basobole otuyamba naffe tusobole okuyamba eggwanga lyaffe Uganda. Mwebale okumpuliriza. Nzigadde Okello Jude, National Chairperson.
First of all, Uganda Technical and Vocational Trainers Union is a registered union by the Ministry of Labour, Gender and Social Development, and we signed a recognition agreement with the government. The government was represented by the Head of Public Service and the Permanent Secretary of Ministry of Public Service, and the union officials signed on behalf of the union. So we are a legally binding labor union in Uganda. We've gathered here to address the nation about the looming effects of some decisions that are taken by the officials in the Ministry of Public Service and Education about very many issues, but most importantly, the removal of science pay from some trainers in departments, that is fashion and design, agriculture, and shoemaking, among others. Then we are also addressing the nation about the recently released structure of skills development centers and vocational training institutes by Ministry of Public Service. We believe this structure was done by some officials who are not well conversant with what is happening in these institutions, or maybe they based on a wrong advice given to them by some officials in some other ministries. So we challenge this structure, and we request that these people should contact all the stakeholders to come up with such a document. Two, we have engaged the Ministry of Public Service on starting from January this year. We've been writing to them letters. They have been responding. We have explained everything, that fashion and design and these other courses are sciences, and they are trained by engineers who come from industries, but they have been adamant on their decisions that these are non-science. So we based on the legal perspective of the public service standing orders. When you look at section G, we are mandated to lay down tools as a public service labor union legally. And then when you look at the Public Service Negotiating and Consultative and Dispute Settlement Machinery Act, where I look at section 7 and section 8, we also have that mandate of laying down tools, giving a notice of 90 days. That one we did. This letter was received on 27th of May 2025, addressed to the Minister of Public Service, and we notified them about our intention to lay down tools, you can call it striking, of TVET trainers if all these issues are not addressed in time. Some of the issues that we raised pertaining the fashion and design trainers and the agriculture trainers are well laid in this document, but most of the officials, I think, we don't know where they are getting this advice from, whether it is from the Ministry of Education, whether it is from other departments. We fail to understand, but we feel like there are some officials in the Ministry of Education that are deliberately making decisions to put down the First Lady, who is the Minister of Education. They are doing these things behind her back, yet she's the minister. She's not aware of most of these decisions, yet the affected people down there believe that it is the First Lady doing all this, yet she's not the one. 2, they have refused to engage the union officials and other stakeholders in some of the decisions that they take. 3, we have tried by all means to engage Ministry of Education and Ministry of Public Service through all these letters. These are correspondences the union has been writing, and these ministries have been responding. So we've exhausted all the ways of negotiating with them on a round table, and that's why we came up with this decision. Giving the 90 days notice, according to the law, is giving room for negotiations, which means we are ready to negotiate with government. But if the 90 days elapse, we are ready to lay down tools across the country, and the skilling Uganda program of the president that he has been spearheading will be killing Uganda. Because there is no way you can say that you are skilling Uganda when you are suffocating the trainers or the engineers. These are engineers who have left their jobs in industries. They have left their jobs in their workplaces. They come, train in these institutions, then you tell them they are non-science. It is unacceptable. 2, there is no way you can tell like agriculture trainers that they are non-science, yet in local governments, in secondary schools, agriculture is regarded as a science. Internationally, it is a science. Fashion and design is a science. When you go to these universities, Makerere University, Ndeje, you go to Kenya, some of the universities that have these technical courses, it is purely science. So we don't know where these people base their ideas to make these decisions. On another note, we have an issue with the Uganda Vocational and Technical Assessment Board, formerly UBTEL. We conducted assessments in November, December last year, but up to now, those results have not been released. We've been getting answers that the board, the minister had not yet appointed the board of this new board. That is Uganda Vocational and Technical Assessment Board. But some 2-3 weeks back, we saw some information that the minister had appointed the board, and we thought the results will be released. But up to now, the answer is still the same. So we don't know what is happening with the results of these students. Yet, the parents who paid fees for these people want them to advance for diploma programs. Those who completed diplomas want to advance for degrees, but there is no way they can apply without results. Exams are done in November, December. This is June, mid-June, and there are no results. So we don't know what is happening, and we request that these results be released immediately before the end of this month. Another request we made to the minister and the government as a whole is that the Ministry of Public Service should implement the presidential directive that he made on 24th of August 2021 to enhance salaries of all scientists in education institutions. That is science, non-medical. That was implemented in financial year 2022, but it is absurd that right now you are coming up with a document showing that some courses are non-science, yet in all the president's speeches, he comes out to highlight which courses are sciences. Who qualifies to be a scientist? then we don't know which official comes out to disregard the directives of the president. So we request that the presidential directives be honored by these officials. 2, we request that public service should stop treating scientists, engineers, and technologists in TVET sector as non-science. Respect government decisions. 3, we pray that the salaries of workshop assistants should match that of laboratory assistants in secondary schools. On this point, laboratory assistants and workshop assistants in TVET institutions have the same qualifications. The same qualifications, they are all scientists, but we fail to understand why the pay for laboratory assistants in secondary schools was increased. It is that of science, but these ones were neglected. So we request that the pay of workshop assistants be increased. And then there was a circular from the Ministry of Education that the ones who qualify with diplomas and degrees should fill forms. That was around last year in October or September. They filled those forms. They were requested the second time around January, February this year. They filled the other forms that they will redesignate them as assistant instructors or assistant vocational trainers, or some of them who qualify to be vocational trainers. They give them those appointments, but up to now, nothing has been done. Now, surprisingly, in the new structure, they are not talking about these workshop assistants. They are talking about workshop attendant, getting a very meager pay of around 200 something. We cannot accept anybody in TVET to get a salary below 500. That is unacceptable because these are scientists purely. 3, we are requesting, because when we are training these trainees in these institutions, we meet very many challenges in workshops and in those industries. So let the government provide the health insurance scheme for these TVET trainers. Because a trainer will get an injury, he uses this meager pay you are giving him to go and treat himself. The trainer ends up selling even the land he has to go and treat himself, yet he has been serving the government. So let the government set up an insurance scheme under the Skills Development Fund that has been put in the TVET Act 2025, so that these trainers can be motivated to do what they are doing. They leave industry, they come in these institutions, they train so that we develop our country. Then the Ministry of Education and Sports should consider and implement the promotional ladders in the TVET sector. We have a challenge where you find a trainer serving as an assistant instructor, as an instructor for almost 15, 20 years, or even up to retirement, is in just one position. Yet this person is told to go and acquire more academic documents. We have trainers who have bachelor's, master's, PhDs, postgraduate diplomas, but they have not been elevated to higher positions. So we request that the government should look into that and honor the promotional ladders in TVET. Then the government should allocate resources adequately and increase funding to facilitate skills training in TVET institutions. When you look at youth employment, every politician talks about unemployment. The president has been talking about it. In Africa, we have that problem. But we cannot fight that using political statements. We cannot fight unemployment using just empty promises. We have to fight youth unemployment using skills training under TVET. But this skills training is being suffocated by some of these officials. It is being suffocated by government decisions not to facilitate the institutions with the right equipment. It is being frustrated by the same government that is failing to employ more trainers in these institutions. So there is no way you can fight unemployment when you are suffocating the sector that is in charge of fighting the same. There is no way you can have a transformed country without a skilled labor force. And there is no way you can fight unemployment without skilled and motivated TVET trainers. Another point is about the Ministry of Education. has been conducting uncoordinated postings and transfers within these TVET training institutions. You find somebody like a workshop assistant who is earning around 200,000. You are transferring this person from Kabari up to Guru. So even the salary he gets cannot facilitate his transport to and fro. And you expect this person to be in Guru for 4 months or 3 months. When he reaches there, sometimes there is no accommodation at the institution. This person is forced to rent somewhere. How do you think that this person will serve the government in a good way? Yet he has that pain inside. His family is not looked after. You expect him to be at the institution Monday to Friday for 3-4 months. Will this person develop? Which means you are killing your own citizens. So let these transfers and postings be done in a phased manner and after consulting people. At least if the principals and deputy principals can be transferred to different regions, fine, because they have some allowances, they have some good scale. But these other trainers, let there be a regional distribution of these trainers, at least from one region to another, but not crossing 1, 2, 3 regions. Then you go to the farthest end of the country, suffer from there. Government should establish motivate institutions countrywide, as indicated in the NRM manifesto of 2016-2021. Again in 2021-26, it was there. The president was promising that they will build TVET institutions in each sub-county, all around in each constituency, all around the country. But it is absurd that you can even move through 3-4 districts without getting any TVET institution. And then you are talking about skilling Uganda. How will you skill Uganda without these training centers? Then we have another problem of government slots that are given to upgraders from TVET institutions. We have a challenge whereby, like in technical colleges, instead of these people increasing chances of people who are coming from national certificate level to gain this diploma, they are giving more chances to senior 6 leavers who are coming from secondary without any technical background. So we request the government to consider that even in government slots given at universities, Makerere, Chambog, and Busitema and others, government should give priority to trainees that have left technical colleges and institutions. Then government should expand the sponsorship of diploma level in fashion and design. Currently, we don't have any government institution offering any diploma in fashion and design. These people have suffered by themselves. After certificate level, they go to private institutions and universities. So let there be a deliberate effort by government to develop diploma programs for fashion and design and shoemaking in government technical colleges. Then we request that government should consider appointing qualifying officers who have served in acting capacity for more than a year as principals and deputy principals. There is that challenge that somebody is given an appointment as a caretaker principal. It takes 6 months, that is according to the law. It goes beyond 1 year, 2 years. Then this person, like we saw it last year, this person is demoted again to come into classroom. Imagine somebody has been an administrator for 2 years, then you are telling him to go back to class. Yet he has all the qualifications. He has served as an acting principal for 6 months, according to the law. But he has gone beyond, and again you are bringing him back to class. It is an abomination to our country. Then the government should consider the recruitment of trainers to handle support modules like entrepreneurship, Swahili, and English. Most of the adverts that have been coming from Education Service Commission, they have not been appointing these trainers in these support modules. And the principals have suffered looking for money to pay these people from secondary schools, from wherever they get them from. Yet these institutions are not funded very well. So the principals have suffered to pay their salaries to come and train our people. Then we have a problem of senior accounts assistants in our institutions. Most of us call them bursars. These bursars have taken over the roles of administration. And they have looked to be more powerful than our own principals, who are appointed to oversee the general administrative structure of these institutions. So we request that these bursars, you find a bursar staying at one institution for almost 10 years and above. So if these bursars can be transferred the way they are transferring instructors, let the bursars be transferred at least after 3 years. Because they reach there, control the money systems, and you find the institution is staggering because the bursar doesn't want the principal to make final decisions about financial management in these institutions. Then government should commit itself to funding TVET trainers to undergo mandatory continuous professional development that has been highlighted in the TVET Act 2025. When you force the TVET trainers to go under this professional development every after 3 years or every after 2 years, and you tell them to go and pay for themselves, yet you have, in the same act, you have put a skills development fund. So we fail to understand, what is the fund for? You can say it is for constructing institutions, for employing the workforce, but again, improving their skills is essential. To get a skilled workforce, you have to get a skilled trainer. So let this continuous professional development be catered for by the government through the skills development fund. Then the Ministry of Education officials should always involve TVET trainers in decision-making processes. We've had all these challenges are coming up because the principals and the trainers have not been involved in decision-making. Somebody sits somewhere in an office with an AC, he or she makes decisions, put them on paper, then she comes and tells you, or he comes and tells you, this is what we've decided. But you have decided this and this with who? With myself. So we don't need gods in TVET. We need parents, we need citizens, we need patriots in TVET so that Uganda can go ahead. Lastly, there was this enactment of the TVET Act 2025, and it was talking about the TVET Council, the skills expert committees, and so we request that trainers should have a chance of being represented on all those boards and councils that are being formulated and appointed by the Minister of Education. Lastly, I read this statement that a very constructive meeting between Minister of Education, the Union, and Minister of Public Service would be a very ideal platform to iron out all these issues that have negatively affected TVET for a long time without check and have negatively impacted the Skilling Uganda program. We remain committed to a fair and lawful resolution of this matter and urge your Honorable Office, the Minister, to review the position urgently and avert disruption in the TVET sector, and further documentation and curriculum proofs, field-based evidence to support all this will be provided the way it has been provided before. I thank you. I wish you good luck. I remain Agaba Norbert, the General Secretary, Uganda Technical and Vocational Trainers Union, and I want to give this guarantee to all the TVET trainers out there. At the end of the 90 days, which will be ending in mid-August, if we fail to agree with the government, we shall tell you to lay down your tools, you go back home, or you remain in your staff quarters, you don't go to class. That is one. Two, you have an assurance that the union is there with legal capacities. We've signed the documents, we have all the legal documents to call for industrial action. We have the lawyers as a union that are standing before us to guide us and to protect us, because we know intimidations will come from some officials, from RDCs, from the DSOs, and whoever wants to intimidate. But just to know that you are covered by the law, and the union will defend every right of every worker in TVET. May God bless you.
Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever.
Bw'anoonya essomero erinaateekateeka omwana wo mu magezi n'okutya Mukama, Agape Christian Secondary School Ekyungu Mukono gy'oba omutwala.
Ssomero lya one A-level eri abawala n'abalenzi era nga lisomesa arts ne sciences.
Lyawandiisibwa Ministry y'ebyenjigiriza era nga lirina ne UNEB Center number.
Science ne computer laboratory zijjudde ebikozesebwa era nga balina ebyemikono saako eby'obulimi n'obulunzi.
Endabirira y'abaana nnungi n'ebyokwerinda biri gguluggulu. Anti-security cameras weeziri ku ssomero. Bafa ku bitone by'abaana okuyita mu kuyimba n'ebyemizannyo.
Balina bursaries okuva mu America ne mu Bwakabaka bwa Buganda. Agape Christian Secondary School basanga Ekyungu Mukono okyamira ku Bank of Africa kilomita 1.5 ng'otuuse.
Bakubire ku noti 771 214 592 oba noti 754 552 498.
Agape Christian Secondary School, trust in divine providence.
Christian school, that school.